Don't tempt me with a good time, Sony, because I might be falling in love with the Bravia 8 Mark II. Hey guys, Thunder E here, and the first time I saw this TV was in Tokyo earlier this year. Sony flew us down to check out their TV line, soundbars. The Bravia 8 Mark II was there, and I remember Brian Tong and your average consumer sitting down and just gawking over it like they'd never seen TVs before. Anyway, we have the TV in-house, and I have to say the setup process was easy. I do have an unboxing video you can check out, and I like the fact that setting up this TV does not require a second person, also just because the TV comes in two sizes, 55 and 65, which is a bummer. But because it's 65 inch, you also have a lighter TV as well. It doesn't have a heavy base, so it just has two stand legs, which are easy to set up and screw in. Weight of the TV without the stands is about 50.5 pounds. So again, a relatively light TV in general for its size point. Now, the design of the TV is similar to the Bravia 8 from last year, but it's really thin, really nice clean lines across the TV, so in the lower left-hand corner. And those stands really create enough space for you to put a sound bar underneath there. Now, if you're facing the TV on the left-hand side, right behind the TV is where you find your HDMI ports. There are 4 on the TV, and 2 of them are 4K 120, and the third port, which is also 4K 120, is the EARC port. We'll talk about that later. I know. But you care about the TV, the panel, what panel they're going with this year. Sony is sticking with QD OLED. I applaud them for that. I think they did a really good job with their last couple of TVs with QD OLED, and I like the way this panel really looks. It is a bright and sharp panel, and you're probably thinking it's probably super reflective. No, Sony has done a good job in cutting down reflections on this TV, especially when you're just watching content. And all the content you're seeing right now, it's a well-lit room. I do have windows, which you know traditionally, and it does a good job just cutting all that out. Beautiful looking TV. I'd say this is only just slightly behind what Samsung is doing with theirs, but doesn't have the matte reflective look. So that's something to take note here, that they did this without actually have a matte display or matte protection in front of it. So is Sony's system better or is Samsung's better? We'll have to actually spend a much longer time to think about that. But I do like what Sony has done here. Now, when viewing content on this TV, you know Sony does a really good job with their processing. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Very warm tones. I did record everything while the TV was in cinema mode, which is what I did also with other TVs as well. There are versions of cinema mode. That's my balance point, and you can see how well the TV does in capturing the colors, the brightness. Sony's XR processing on this, triluminous XR processing, is always great. I give them this huge applaud for that, because I have the Bravia 9, and that's one of my favorite TVs, and the processing on that TV just does a really good job, and it continues here on this TV. So whether you're watching a scene that just has all blacks in the background and you're looking at a specific subject, there's great separation there and it's very clean, or whether you're watching the scene with more colors and more brightness, you can see the color volume really stand out as well. The TV hits those points at a very high note. Now, this is running Google TV OS, and it's an OS that I do like, but I also wish the manufacturers had some of their spin to it. I understand why, because Google wants to keep some unity and less clutter. It runs pretty well. Now, the one extension that is Sony here, of course, is the Sony Pictures Core, or formerly known as Sony Bravia Core, which allows you to, of course, to watch movie content in there from the Sony library. And also that has a lot of content that has the IMAX enhanced mode on there as well. So that's something to take note if you want to use that. The menu system is pretty clean and simple. Of course, you have your apps on screen. You can navigate through the main menu there for the different apps you're looking for. You also have the settings menu that floats at the bottom of the screen, which I do like, giving you quick access to things like, of course, your viewing modes, whether it's cinema, vivid, or IMAX enhanced, your audio modes as well, your different settings and all that fun stuff. Nice and clean setup there, which is nice. Now, as a gamer, how well does this TV handle gaming? I'm going to talk about it in a couple of parts, because for me, gaming is very important. First off is the fact that the TV doesn't really have any game streaming services, which, as much as some people might say it's not that necessary, I do like the fact that Samsung and LG do have, of course, game streaming service options on their TVs. Now, Sony does have one with PlayStation Remote Play, which allows you to remote play your PlayStation on the TV, which is good, but it's limited and doesn't expand more than that, and that's just the only option available. The other aspect to this TV is the fact that you do have two HDMI ports that are 4K 120. Now, a lot of TVs out there support up to 4K 165 Hz, so a PC gamer can plug in the PC to use on the TV, which is great, but 4K 120 isn't bad. My biggest issue here is that it only has two 4K 120 ports, and one of them is the ER port. So some of you might say, well, two is enough. Well, if you have an Xbox and a PlayStation and you have a soundbar, you have to decide which of your consoles you don't want connected. Now, some of you say, no, it's got to be the Xbox that's not connected. Nah, I don't want to have that choice. I just want to be able to plug it in. So that's my gripe out of the way for the gaming section there. But when it comes to actually playing games on the TV of your consoles, be the Xbox or the PlayStation, they look absolutely gorgeous. Forza Horizon 5, which is now available on the PlayStation, by the way, looks really good, plays very well, super smooth all around. Then, of course, Doom: The Dark Ages looks absolutely vibrant in that dark environment. Great use of colors, and it just looks really good on this TV. And then, of course, you're playing games on the PlayStation, like Spider-Man Miles Morales. Again, very sharp, vibrant colors that really stand out. God of War. The gaming experience on the TV while you're playing off a console looks really good and plays very well. Now, Sony has a game bar, which allows you to do some customization on there. It's something we've seen in the past, and every other manufacturer has something similar. And they've kind of continued that here. There's no big surprises or changes this year with the game bar as it is. Now, what about audio? How good are the speakers on this TV? Well, the speaker on the TV is a little bit different. The display itself is the main center channel speaker with the acoustic technology that Sony uses. Now, I can describe it for you, but the best thing for you is actually just to listen to some video playback, gaming on this TV, and also just some of my YouTube videos to give you an idea of how well the TV does with audio. So weight and design, I do like the XM6, but I have to say that Apple's done a really good job in the finishing of the AirPods Max. They provided this for me, but I want to share some of my quick fire thoughts spending 72 plus hours with this console. Very good. Sony's always done a good job with that center channel acoustic that does a fabulous job in keeping the audio well balanced all the way through. If you don't have a soundbar, or at least you spent the money on this TV and you're thinking, I'll get a soundbar later, you will not be disappointed, at least with what the TV actually provides and gives you. So again, solid standing point there. Now, when it comes to brightness, how bright the TV goes, I don't know what the max native brightness is, but I say it does a good job with handling brighter scenes. Though I did check out Batman v Superman, and that's a film that has a lot of scenes in up to 4,000 nits, and you can see some of the clipping there while you're actually watching content on that. But in general, your day-to-day content looks really good. The TV handles colors very well. I mean, the colors are rich and balanced. It's got this softer look to it. It's like a warm, fuzzy feeling watching content on this TV. So I've said a lot of great things about the TV, but what don't I like? Now, I mentioned the HDMI ports, and I think that still stands. That's something that I hopefully, gets fixed or changed. just give us 4 HDMI ports that are at least 120 and above. Another thing also is the fact that they don't have a 75 or a 77-inch variant of this TV, which a lot of people love. I've kind of grown away from 65 inches, and now 77, 75 is my sweet spot. So I think a lot of people are looking for that size range as well, and I think that's something that's missing there. And finally, the remote control. The standard Sony remote control, it's simple. It has all the access to all the different services that you'd like, but it's not backlit. It's 2025. This is also a high-end TV, and you're paying quite a pretty penny for this. So that's something that is a bummer and can be changed quite easily. So those are the things that really set the TV for me. And finally, the price. The price of the TV is $3,499. Although currently right now Sony has a promotion, or at least a sale on their website. The TV is going for $2,999, which is not bad at that price point if it's that, but $3,499, I think it's a bit of a stretch for it, especially since there is no 77 or 75-inch variant. I really like this TV. I do. My gripes aside, I set that aside away. This TV hits the mark on a lot of levels and just feels comfortable. I mean, in terms of the quality, image quality, look, you saw my video with the Samsung TV, the S95F. I like the image quality on TV, and this rivals that for me in a very different way. I think Samsung had a lot of sharpness to it, but I'm not going to compare. I don't want to compare. I just want to treat it on its own, and I think this TV is damn good. So if you guys have any questions in the comments, let me know. Otherwise, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Use my link down below if you want to pick it up, because I know if you do, you will not be disappointed, and always enjoy your entertainment.